So, how bad is this lighting? It's the night. Listen, I have a Barnes& and Noble gift card coming in the mail. It's my credit card rewards, like about once a year, get a gift card for Barnes& and Noble, and I can't buy any books until I read some of the books. So, throughout this video, I want to read 10 books. I've already done 2, and when I read 10, then I can go to Barnes & Noble and spend the gift card. And it's probably going to be like one book because I want to buy a knitting like pattern book. Does Barnes & Noble have those? I refuse to buy online from Barnes & Noble because they do print on demand garbage just like Amazon. So, we'll see. But I have read 2, which I will talk about now. The first book is Hunchback by Saou Ichikawa. So this little book is about a woman with severe muscular dystrophy. So she's in a wheelchair and she requires around-the-clock care. There's a lot of descriptions of like fluid getting caught and she has to like suck it out with a hose. Like she needs to monitor that at all times. And the plot of the book is that she is almost 40 and she wants to get pregnant and have an abortion so that she can kind of prove that she is a human person. Like she wants to do the most human thing. And that's kind of like a shocking description of the book, but it makes sense in the book. And I thought it was really, really good. There's not enough fiction, or at least fiction I have read about like people with severe disabilities. And it was really interesting because she would be talking about her online classes or the type of equipment she wants to buy for this facility she lives in. And it would just stop the plot because her body would like get in the way. Like she would be writing an online article and then it would stop and the next 5 paragraphs are like the fluid or the pain or like being stuck in a certain position. It was really, really interesting. I really liked it and I recommend it. Also, there was like a little subplot in the book about people who think reading an ebook or listening to an audiobook doesn't count as reading. And do those people actually exist? Like, is there a human person who's like, oh, an audiobook doesn't mean you read the book? Like, obviously it's a disability issue, right? Like she physically cannot hold books, so she has to read them on an e-reader or in an audiobook. But I remember when I did this video about Lord of the Rings, and I said that what finally got me to read them was that I listened to Andy Serkis read the audiobooks, which I big recommend on that. And I did get comments that were like, well, you never actually read them though. You haven't read them yet, have you? And it's like, ew, who are those people? Gross. Anyway, the second book I read was garbage. It's called Careless People. It's the book Facebook doesn't want you to read. Ugh. So this is Careless People by Sarah Wynn-Williams. And I just wish that people who are in situations where they should tell a public story would not wait 4 years and write a fucking book about it so they can also make money off of it. She spends a lot of this book being like, I'm an innocent little guy. I'm an innocent little guy. I didn't know that meta was evil. I didn't know that billionaires are bad. I'm just a little guy. And it's like, at least own up to being a part of this. Also, the start of this book, I would like to say that this book opens with one of the most horrifying stories of child abuse I have ever read in my life. And I don't recommend this book. This will be getting donated once I have a nice little picture of the 10 books I read so I can go buy some more because I'm the worst. But why are we here today? We are here today because a special little guy is having a birthday and I am going to be knitting him a sweater. And because his mom and his dad are both readers, it's gonna be a bookish little sweater and I'm really excited about it. So I'm gonna switch to the handy cam and let you know what I'm thinking. So this is one of my favorite Am I recording? I am. Okay. So this is one of my favorite children's books. It's a classic. I'm sure this little guy already has this book, but I was thinking I could do like a sweater with a dark blue background and then in the center just Grover's face with like the lighter blue and the pink nose, and it would be so cute. hopefully I am drawing a little picture of what I think this would look like. And I thought that was a great idea. However, do people still like the Muppets? I like the Muppets, but I often feel, maybe this is my generation or maybe it's all generations, but I feel like millennials especially are like pushing their own interest onto children and being like what I like. And that's not my favorite. Maybe this little guy doesn't like the Muppets, and that's okay. He's allowed. So I thought I would go with something a little bit more classic. Although I did find this yarn, and this is called the One Hat Wonder, and it makes a little Super Grover. So I might make him this hat. But the yarn is kind of gross, and the stuffy is kind of big for like a bauble. So maybe I won't. But I will definitely send him this book as well. But let me tell you what I landed on. I don't know why I'm acting like you should guess. I'm sure the final product is in the thumbnail, but I mean, that's months from now. I haven't made the sweater yet. So I'm thinking The Very Hungry Caterpillar, right? Also, I'm sure he has this book already, but like I'm imagining a cute little photo with the book and the sweater, right? So I'm going to make this a 2T, and I went to Savers and bought like a little 2T sweater. So I will just kind of match it to this size, and I'll wash this and send it along for the little guy too. And I think it's going to be great. Also, Eric Carle is from Massachusetts, where I live. So this little guy is just going to have a Massachusetts themed gift from someone who cares for him very much in Massachusetts. So I'm very excited about this. And also, this is way too much yarn. Like this is 500 grams. I think a toddler sweater will be like 250, if that. I just got enough, so if it's really, really bad, I can remake it and make it better, because I've never used, this is superwash, so you can wash it in the washing machine, because like babies spit and vomit and poop on everything, and I wouldn't want to give a hand wash sweater to a baby. So this is superwash, but it is real wool, so it's soft, but it can go in the washer. But I've also never used it. I've heard that it's maybe more stretchy, so my tension might be weird. So I did get enough to make two. And shout out to my local yarn store, because I was really worried that this was going to read Christmas. The yarn store is Another Yarn in Burlington, Mass. And she was like, no. Like, you get these two greens, it's not Christmas. And if you put them all together, it's not going to be Christmas. It's very specifically going to be a Very Hungry Caterpillar sweater. And I'm excited about it. So next time I have time, hopefully you'll see me in the future winding these up into balls. I mean cakes. This is a hank. You wind it into a cake. I'm still very new to knitting. And while I knit, I'm going to listen to an audiobook. I don't know which yet, but it will be an audiobook of a book I have, so I can start adding it to my list of 10 to knock some of these books out. But isn't this so exciting? I'm so excited. Next time you see me, I will be winding. Is this angle okay? I'm not sure. I feel like it's quite, let's try it again. Better? How are we now? Okay. So I've got, I think this is called a Yarn Swift, and I'm gonna put these into cakes so that I'm ready to start knitting. The pattern that I've got is the Alice sweater by Knitting for Olive, and that looks totally fine, but hear me out. What if instead I made a little jacket, like a little cardigan? I just feel like that's more practical for a baby than, do you know what I mean? Like, I might make a cardigan. If I do make a cardigan, I think there's a petite knit pattern. I don't know what it's called. I might make that. But that changes nothing at this point in the game. So like, let's cake the balls, cake the hanks. I actually really like this yarn because the thread tying the hank together was a different color, which means I didn't make the mistake of cutting the yarn a bunch of times, which I have made before. I do still struggle with, though, finding the end. I think this is the end, so I'm gonna try it. Okay. See, I wish I had enough space to set this up permanently, because I just fail at this so hard. But, like, it's okay. I'm still very new to the whole thing. And it's fine. This is gonna be fine. It's gonna work eventually, even if I have to, like, hold it and turn it at the same time. All right. So now I'm just doing this. And while I'm doing this, I am going to listen to my audiobook. I have been listening to, ooh, will this work? Ooh. That Librarian by Amanda Jones. And it's the story of this librarian. She's a school librarian, but she spoke out at her local library against censorship. And then she was targeted by those fucking losers who are scared of books. Like those people who drive from county to county because they have nothing else in their lives and no one loves them or wants to spend time with them. So they go and they're like, I think that A Wrinkle in Time is too sexual and disgusting. And it's like they don't even live in the area. They don't have children in the school district. And it's just like pathetic and sad and disgusting, but like also not in like a way that makes me pity them, because like the reason no one is in their life is because they're the worst. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this book is about that. Like she was targeted and harassed, and like they tried to get her fired, and I totally fucked this up. They tried to get her fired, and that's what the book is about, kind of like her journey. I would say that I don't think the book is great. Like, obviously, I stand with libraries. I love the library. I like libraries. It's just not a very, like she obviously had a very traumatic, like, experience with, like, internet trolls, but, like, I have read that story. I'm really struggling with this. I have read that story, like, 100 times before. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I've already heard this story. I already agree with her. I already think these people suck and are the worst. So I'm kind of just like, why am I reading this? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to fight with this with 2 hands and listen to the audiobook, and hopefully it gets better. Okay. It looks very, very Hungry Caterpillar. This one, I don't know if I like this yarn. It gave me some trouble trying to cake it up. It ripped too, which worries me, because if it rips while I knit it, that's just going to be very frustrating. But I really like the colors. Next time you see me, I will be knitting. And I really think I have decided on a jacket. Like, we're going to do a cardigan. This angle, I don't know, I'm like 50% through this book, and it's fine. My issue is that, like, I just agree with her, and also I already know. Like, I already know the freaks who want to ban books are, like, 2 people, and I already know they don't read the books. They just, like, throw a list up, and I already know it wastes the librarian's time, and I already know and respect librarians. I know they have education in research and, like, methods for what they are supposed to do when someone does have a problem with a book, and how you handle that, and also account for, like, the First Amendment rights of Americans. I understand. So, who is this for? Because I feel like the book banners would never read this book. And everyone else is just like, yeah, we get it. If you are interested in this, I would say this is a library book and not a purchase book, though. I'm going to power through this. This will be book number 3, and we'll see what's next. Next time you see me, I will be knitting. A cardigan. I'm really thinking cardigan. I might change my mind, though. Okay, bye. Hi, it's a couple days later. I'm giving an update on the sweater, which we'll talk about in a second. Check it out. I'm wearing my Blue Origin Katy Perry hoodie. Can you see? It's so stupid. I'm so mad that I bought this, but also it's so funny. It's so stupid. And it's really cozy. It's a nice hoodie. Anyway, I finished that Librarian, and I mean, it was fine. It's hard to read a book where it's just like, yeah, that sucks. I agree with you on everything. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a central argument in this book that I feel like is not capitalized on enough, which is that librarians are not babysitters and children should not be dropped off at the library. Like, anyone under 13 shouldn't be at a library by themselves anyway. So, like, where are these liars saying that these kids are getting these books? Because, like, why aren't you watching your children? Like, you police what your children read, not the librarian who is not a babysitter. What a weird thing that I feel like no one's talking about when they talk about these weird book banning people. Anyway, it was fine. I would recommend, if you're interested, get it from the library. Don't buy it, because it's definitely not something you would reread. Now I'm reading Stanislaw Lem, The Futurological Congress. And look at this cover. This is such a cool book. This is a old decommissioned library book from 1971. And it's a little futuristic sci-fi kind of academia, government intrigue book where like crazy things happen, and anything I were to say would spoil it. But like, he goes to Costa Rica for a conference, and then stuff happens, but it's the future, and it's like a satire. It's good so far. Maybe once I get to the end, I'll find a better way to describe it, but I'm enjoying it a lot. This is my third Lem. I read Solaris, and last year I read Eden, and I really liked it, and I'm also enjoying this. I think he's definitely one of those for me that you can just kind of definitely pick up and have a good time with it. So the sweater. I've made a lot of progress on the sweater. Okay. So my issue is that once I start knitting, I absolutely cannot stop knitting. So you can see, what's the best way to, so this is going to be a cardigan. Maybe, hang on. This is going to be a cardigan. So you can see I've done, like, this is your standard cardigan construction. You do the back with short rows, you bring the front in to do the sleeves, and I've kind of joined it now in the body, so I've got little armholes, which I'm right now realizing are going to be so small. I might have to finally learn magic loop. I do have double pointed needles, but like, they're so fiddly. We'll figure that out when we get there, but this is looking just so stinking cute. Although, is it giving Nightmare on Elm Street? Like, I'm hoping the red color will save it and make it Hungry Caterpillar, but like, it's a little bit, I guess it could be like a Halloween outfit. Also, I saw someone on a YouTube video using one of these things. It's like a magnet. And I was like, that's so stupid, because I just plopped my ball of yarn in like a bag or whatever and carried it around. But like, this is so nice. I really like it. I got that at a local, it was in Boston. It was like a craft fair, and someone was selling those, and I was like, oh, I've seen those. And so I bought it. And just holds the yarn ball. But here we are. This is like 2 days of knitting. Like, it's a teeny tiny sweater. I'm actually worried it might be too big. I'm making the 2 to 3 size. So this is the Holger Petite Knit baby cardigan. I was going to do the Alice sweater, but I think a jacket's just going to be better. And yeah, I'm doing the second size, so the size 2 to 3. So it might be a little big, but like, it's a jacket, so that's fine. Just plop it on top of the baby. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So my next update will probably be once I've finished the body and either made this a sleeveless vest or learned how to do double pointed needles. Or I make the socks with the shorties. Maybe I could just use shorties. Maybe those would be small enough. Anyway, we'll see. It's going well. It's cute, right? Okay, bye. Wait, I don't want to say bye because I still have not received my Barnes & Noble gift card in the mail, but I am 4 books in. So 6 more books and I can go buy new books. That'll be great. Okay, now for real. Now bye. Bye. See you in a couple days, I guess. So hi, it's another update days later, but I have finished the body of the little cardigan and it looks so cute. I did edit, I don't know if I mentioned this. I did change the stitch count on the top a little bit just to make it a little more jacket-like. And I also did a 2x2 ribbing instead of a 1x1 ribbing just because I think I like that better. But other than that, it's just like a really simple pattern. And I'm glad I'm making it a jacket. What's next? Sleeves. And the pattern has like unicolor sleeves, but I think I'm just going to follow the stripes and then do the same color as like the ribbing on that. And then the button band, I might do the other green, the light green, and then the collar is of course red. So again, it looks a little, I don't know, like just the stripe pattern and the colors, it feels like Freddy Krueger, although I looked it up and it's a red and green sweater for Freddy Krueger, but I don't know why, but hopefully the red collar brings it together a little bit. I do have a choice to make. So when you knit the button band, you do, of course, leave holes for the buttons. And I don't think I want to do buttons. I did buy some snaps, like on a onesie, like those little button snaps, and you kind of just install them. And that doesn't require buttonholes. So I might do that. But I also have a little zipper. Actually, is this? Let me just see if this is too big. I think you can change the length of a zipper, though. I don't know if I'll do the zipper. We'll see. I might do this zipper. It's cute. It's like a little brown. I thought it would go nice. Okay. So yeah, that's next. I love doing baby knits because like this was so quick. Like it's been like 5 days maybe of just like knitting whenever I have time to knit. So yeah, sleeves are next. For books, last time I was finishing the Futurological Congress, and I really liked this book. I think I didn't know how to describe it, and I still kind of don't. Lem is such an interesting writer, and I feel like every world he builds is so huge. And like the story is interesting, but the world is what sticks in your brain. And there was some really visceral body horror in this book. So if you're into that, I don't want to spoil it. I kind of don't want to say anything. It's set in the near future and talks about like, I want to say like chemicals that alter your brain and whether or not that's a good or bad thing. Not in like a medicinal way, in like a artificially controlling the population way. I really liked this. I've never heard anyone talk about this. I got this used somewhere and I just saw the cover and that it looked nice, and I know Lem is always good, but it was really good. I really enjoyed this. I read I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Enger, and this is my first book by him, and I gotta say, like, the first 30% of this book, I thought it was my new favorite book. This is also a near future story about, like, a post-capitalism world, kind of, but not really. But it's very human, and the characters all feel really real, and the things that happen feel so realistic that the world... This also is a book with a really good world. I really, really liked this. It did kind of go down a little bit for me as it kept going on. I feel like it was too long, but I really liked this. So what it made me think of most was Station 11, where Station 11 is like a post-pandemic like population and what they do to survive. This is more like capitalism collapse, and now you kind of have two different types of people, like regular people and these incredibly wealthy people who control the world. And this was just, I don't know, it was so realistic. It was such an interesting and also devastating description of what the world would be like. A big theme in this book was books. Like, the president that destroys everything is the first, like, proudly illiterate president and stuff. I love books about books. This is also about music and how powerful music is like building a community. This was really, really, really good. I wouldn't say it's a new favorite, but I really liked this. I was surprised. I had heard nothing about this, and I really enjoyed this. It was kind of devastating, though. I did cry, but I always cry. I'm a crier. Anyway, I think my gift card is arriving in the mail today, and I have finished 5 books, so I need to do 5 more, and 3 of them I really, really liked, so that's exciting. That's a good ratio. What I'm going to read now is Werner's Nomenclature of Colors, and it's about science and the arts, and I don't think it's actually about that. I think it's mostly supposed to be like a color diary. So artists telling scientists how to accurately portray colors and like their diagrams and things. And this is from the 1800s, and I think that it could be interesting, but I don't think it's going to have a lot of text. So I should read it very quickly and go buy new books. I just need 5 more. So I bet next time you see me, I will have added sleeves and probably 2 more books out of the way. And then we'll be done, I guess. This is so fucking cute. I love this. Okay. All right. Okay, bye. I don't remember the last time I updated the vlog of the bookish sweater, but oh my god, it's so it's so cute. So I haven't blocked it yet. I might do that later today, but you know, I did the bottom, I did 2 arms, and I did the rib matching the bottom of the sweater, and then for the button band I did the light green, and then the collar, of course. Am I right? Look, just, you can't see the red. Look at that. It's so cute. I didn't realize this, but the zipper is for like jeans. It's not like a jacket zipper. Like you can't open it. It doesn't have the part that comes apart. And maybe if you know more about that than me, you would know how to fix this. But instead, I just went on Michael's and I ordered a zipper, a jacket zipper. So once I block this and put the zipper on, we'll be done. I obviously used a little bit of red, but this is how much I have left of each. The skeins were initially 100 grams. So I feel like a 2T sweater is under 200 grams. And so I would have only needed 2 balls, but I have those extra balls. So what I thought to do was make a matching Sophie scarf. You know the Sophie scarves, they're so stupid because like, I like them and I don't think they look stupid. I think they look really cool. I don't think I could ever pull it off, but it's just like, what weather do you need a tiny scarf? Like no weather ever. Like why would you ever need just this tiniest, like maybe if you had like a tracheotomy, but I do think they're really cute. And I think women who can pull them off look really cool, but I just wanted to make like a little matching scarf since I have the yarn. And I thought like maybe his mom could tie it to her purse or something and like it would just be a little matching moment. Obviously babies don't need scarves because they would like choke, but like just like on a purse maybe, like a little matching. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll hate it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I haven't read anything. I'm still 5 books in. I have the gift card in my hands and I have not read anything. I should really get on that. Yeah. No, you recorded the whole thing without pushing the record button, but let's do it again. Like it's fine. I don't know when I last talked to you, but she's done. She's zippered. The zipper opens up all the way. It's blocked. It's beautiful. I loved making this. It's my very hungry caterpillar sweater. Oh, is this a thumbnail? See? It's so cute. The body of it seems good, but the sleeves way too long. And maybe that's good for winter, but also I made a long ribbing so you can like roll up the sleeves very easily. So giving a baby a wool sweater in June is a good look, I guess. But I love this. I loved making it. I think it's adorable, and I hope he likes it. But you know, also, he doesn't have to like it, right? Like, I've gone on record saying I don't like giving gifts. I think gifts are bad. And I understand that this was for me. Like, I know a baby. I wanted to make a baby sweater, and I did. And once this leaves my hands, it's not up to me what happens to it. So you're totally allowed to not like it, and it's fine. Like, maybe donate it if you hate it, and someone at the thrift store will be like, oh my god, a hungry caterpillar sweater. You know what I mean? Like, once it leaves my hands, it's out of my control. Like, there's this thing in knitting where people talk about whether people are knit worthy. Like if they don't react the right way to the thing you spent hours and hours working on, you're like offended and upset. But like, I get that, but also when you're giving a gift, it's out of your control what the response is. Do you know what I mean? And also, this is not his real birthday present. This is just for me. I'm giving him a nugget couch. And of course, I have cleared it with the parents, and I will ask what color to match their decor, right? That's a good gift. I think nugget couch is amazing. But also, this is very cute. Also, so I can't remember if I mentioned that I used some of the leftover yarn to make a Sophie scarf for mom, for the mom of the baby, so she could match if she wants. But like, this looks stupid, right? I think the Sophie scarves look so cool. Like very like chic, but like maybe I'm not. It could also be the colors. But like, I watched this pottery channel, Pottery for the People, and she's always wearing like a neckerchief, and she looks so cool. And like, when I do it, but I don't intend for this to be worn around the neck. I mean, you can if you want, but like, I was thinking like tie around a bag, you know, just to match. Or like put a scarf on a stuffed animal, you know, or throw it away. It's fine. But I did make it, and I think it's kind of cute how it matches. But like, I don't know. I feel like it looks so cool on everyone but me. I don't know. But also, I like them because you roll them up and they look like a little croissant. Also, I blocked this before the ends were woven in, and because I striped this, there were so many ends to weave in. It was crazy. Here's a picture of the blocking. Okay. What else? Oh, I also got this to go with the sweater. Like, I'm imagining a photo shoot. I don't get to pick what is done with this sweater, but like, I'm imagining like, you know, a cute little baby photo shoot with like the toy and the book and the sweater. But also this little guy, he's so small. I think he's 9 months old right now, and he's standing. I have heard there are babies who walk before they're 8 years old, but I've never seen it. But if anyone's gonna do it, it's this little guy. And I got him the toy because like, it's one of those you pull on a string and you walk. It can help him on that journey, you know? And also like, it's cute. It's really cute. It's like made in America, lead-free paint, so he can chew on it if he wants. I'm not gonna judge him. He can do whatever he wants. I am imagining the photo shoot. I will insert a picture of at least a photo shoot without a baby right now. Okay, that's done. A bookish knit. I thought it was really fun. It's actually not my first bookish knit. I made the Lord of the Rings Gandalf pillow with Gandalf the gray on one side and Gandalf the white on the other side. It was fun. Okay. Anyway, the other thing I was going to do for this video is read 10 books, of course, so I could spend my Barnes & Noble gift card. And I already spent my Barnes & Noble gift card, and I read 7. So, I can't even remember what I've talked about. Editing Angela will figure it out. Did I talk about this? I think I've already talked about it, and I said it was kind of Station 11-y, and it was really, really good, and I absolutely loved the first half. Angela, cut this if you've already talked about it. Okay. Next, I read Werner's Nomenclature of Colors, and this was disappointing. So there was a little essay on why colors are important, and most of the book was just swatches let me find a page, like swatches with descriptions. And this was printed pretty well, so like the colors are distinguishable on this yellow paper, and the descriptions are interesting. And I kind of thought it would go into more detail on how to read the colors. Like, I don't know, I really struggle with that. Better YouTubers than me talk a lot about like color grading their videos and lighting, and I don't know any of that, and I would love to. Like, if you hand me a light bulb and say, is this soft or it's soft or warm? I don't know. But this was kind of just for like, it's 100 years ago and you are a anatomy guy and you're drawing a picture, how you can get the color and what the color looks like. And obviously that's important, but it's also completely obsolete because we can just right click and get a hex code. So yeah, it's a disappointment, but I imagine like the actual book, like in a museum with like the swatches that have actually been hand painted would be really cool. But this was not interesting. Okay. The last book I read was How to Blow Up a Pipeline by Andreas Malm. And I guess this book is kind of asking when do climate protests become violent out of necessity? And what does that mean? And there's also a few arguments on like why it hasn't yet. And I did find that really interesting because I don't know, like you go back to even like Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King Jr. and like the idea of how to protest. Like you have to be quiet, you have to be kind, and like even there was the No Kings protest, which I went to, and it was totally respectful and fine. And all over Blue Sky, there were these people who were like, you're not protesting correctly. You're not doing it the right way. And it's like, what are we supposed to do? Like, when is in a French Revolution situation? Do you know what I mean? And this book was written before the pandemic, like 2019. And so the introduction is like, we had made so many strides to making progress in climate revolution. And like, we all had to stop because obviously the same person who cares about climate change also understands climate change role in pandemics and also understands the importance of like social distancing and things. And God, the idea of the book was really interesting. Just this idea of like, I don't know, this is going to be real offensive, but like Republicans don't watch my channel anyway, but like the good people are so careful and thoughtful about how they take actions, whereas the bad guys are obviously willing to like blow up the entire NSF. You know, they don't care. Like destroy everything. People will die, whatever. But like leftists like are like, "Oh my god, you can't block a road. Oh my god, Jeff Bezos wants to get married in Italy. How dare you?" Do you know what I mean? Like I think of Luigi you know, and how much like it was like finally something has happened and how much support he had and still has. And like when do the lefties become the baddies to like stop climate change from killing us all? But not a lot of that was in the book. It just made me think about that. It's hard for me to read a book that I agree with that's not doing anything interesting, which I think was this book. Like, it was fine. It reminded me of that Librarian, actually. It was just like, yeah, I agree with you. I understand the issue, but, like, you're not fixing it for me. What do I do? Tell me what to do. Do you know what I mean? But this was fine. So, yeah, I read 7 books. Let's see. Okay. So, I will donate this. I really liked this. It kind of fell off for me towards the end, but I'm definitely going to keep it. And I might check out this guy's other book. I really liked this as well. And I've actually, the thing about Lem is that every time I read one of his books, I'm thinking about it forever. Like, I read this book, which is also kind of about a capitalism-driven future, right before I read this book. And so the whole time this book was in my head. And also there was body horror in this book, which I didn't realize I find interesting. And so now I want to watch a bunch of movies, like The Fly. I've never seen The Fly. I did just get a movie account thanks to Be Kind Rewind channel. Okay, I have a free month. Thank you. I read this, and again, this one was fine. I will never read it again. And it's hard to read a book where you're just like, yeah, I agree with you, of course. So, donate. Oh god, I forgot about this already. I loved this book. This was really good. I think I would also reread this. I don't think there are enough books told from this perspective. And so I found it really interesting. And I think I'll read it again. And this was trash. I hated it. Like, hey, why would you wait 30 years to tell the truth about a thing that's happening, guy? Like, oh, she's an innocent little flower. She didn't know that the evil company was evil. Oh, garbage. All right. So that's pretty good, getting 4 books out of the house. And I only bought 3 books at Barnes & Noble. So this was an impulse buy. I've never heard of this before. It is a chilling Japanese mystery sensation called Strange Pictures by Uke Tsu, translated by Jim Ryan. And what got me is floor plans. This is a horror book with floor plans. God, what is that IKEA book? Hörrorstor. It's like a horror book set in an IKEA. Loved it. I don't know what this is about, but like mixing floor plans and horror is just so my genre, and I'm really excited. I might take this. I'm going on vacation. I might take this with me. I almost put that in the donate pile. That'd be bad. I also bought Artic knits. So let me show you the pattern I was most interested in. Well, actually, I am not supposed to show you the pattern part, right? That's rude. So I'm not supposed to show you the pattern part, so I hope you can see it, but like, see these like yokes? Oh, I guess like just even the front cover. Like these color work sweaters, that's my next kind of thing I want to knit as like a big project. There was one specifically, I think it was a hat. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so this one specifically, it was a hat. Do you see the llama? I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll try to find a picture. But yeah, llama hat, color work. That sounds fun. I was looking at the knitting books, and the worker who works at Barnes & Noble, she came by. She was like, oh, if you want knitting, we have magazines. And so I went, and I also found a knitting magazine called Beloved Patterns. Iconic Designs of Vuoko. Vuoko? I've never seen this magazine before. I've seen like the Lane. Do I have one? No. But these looked really pretty. I liked these mittens. Colorwork mittens, just cute. And then there was a sweater. Hang on. And then I also liked this cardigan. I just knit a baby cardigan, but I also knit like just like a standard cardigan, and I loved it. I loved knitting it. So what am I gonna do with all these sweaters? That's the question. Yeah, so there you go. I'm taking 4 away, and I only brought 3 in, and one of them's a magazine, so it doesn't even count. I have so many knitting books now. I find them in thrift stores and things. I have to stop. I have to stop buying knitting books. I have to knit from the books, actually. The next thing I'm making before I make that sweater are some socks. So this is hedgehog fibers, and then this is going to be the toe and the heel. So this will be my 3rd pair of completed socks. Once I start and also finish these, I'll be in the car, so it'll be like a driving situation. Don't want to bring a whole sweater. So, end of sweater vlog. Thanks for coming along, I guess. I want to do more book knits because I love books, and now I love knitting, and it's my whole personality. So, like and subscribe to see that, I guess. Oh my god.